Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Steel Sanctuary podcast. I'm your host, David Barrow from SteelSanctuary.com, and this is my co-host, David Coro. Dave, what's going on?
Not much. I had to cancel the thing because it was echoing really bad. um, but yeah, I'm here, bro.
It's been a long wait, but we're finally down to the final 53. We've gone through drafts and free agency and trades and this, that, and the other thing, and here we are. What's your initial impressions of the 53 so far?
A little bit surprised. I would say that I didn't see them keeping 8 defensive linemen.
No.
That was a big one that I was not expecting at all. But Liao allowed them to go with him as their fourth edge rusher, but cutting Kieran Johnson, I did not see at all. I thought he did enough. They'd want to keep him around. But that was my big thing. What else? They did end up keeping Scotty Miller over Fitzpatrick and Watkins. Watkins, I wasn't surprised with, but I thought Fitzpatrick had a shot. I know you speculated. You thought that, CA3 would be gone, but that didn't happen. But yeah, that just a couple of those things. Everything else, I think, was pretty much what we figured would happen anyways.
Yeah. I was surprised and again, we have to make sure people know this is not going to be the 53 players that are going to be on the roster come week one. There's still, I would say, almost maybe a half dozen players still that could move that the Steelers could bring in between now and the first game. I think that defensive linemen will go down to 6 at some point. I think they'll add a wide receiver. We've talked about it, and we'll go through position by position. But yeah, it's temporary. The Steelers still have a lot of moves to make. Let's go over some of the things they did do. Ryan Watts on season-ending IR, unfortunately. I guess that injury, that stinger that he suffered in the last preseason game, was a little worse than we thought.
Yeah.
That's disappointing. I didn't have him on my final 53. I thought he'd hit the practice squad to start the season, but didn't work out that way. Jeremiah Moon and Cook both went to IR designated to return, so they could be back. It explains a little bit about Moon, right? We were wondering why he wasn't playing the last couple of weeks, and obviously picked up some kind of injury. Nobody reported anything that I know of. Did you hear anything about injury to Jeremiah Moon?
I remember I asked you last pod if he was injured. I could have told you. I could have sworn there was some kind of injury with him. I can't remember what it was, though.
Yeah,
but they didn't really say much after that. They really didn't go into detail, like, to explain why. In fact, they had other, I was listening to radio off and on the last couple of days, and they were under the idea that he just didn't perform good enough for them to really play him that last game. So they didn't really say shit about anything when it came to him.
Yeah.
Except for, like I told you, I thought briefly I saw I'd say about a week ago, I thought I saw that he had some kind of injury, but they never really went into detail what it was.
Yeah, I was surprised. That was a surprise for me. I think my biggest surprise making the roster was it's a toss up. Jalen Elliott, maybe.
Yeah,
I didn't see him coming, or Logan Lee, one of those two. I didn't see
I
either
didn't
one of
think
those.
I didn't think that he really did that well to really warrant making the team, to be honest.
Yeah, he's another guy that could end up going when players start to shuffle.
Yeah, he's a guy that I could see being gone as soon as they get who they're looking for. Because there's been a lot of players that got cut today that like I literally could see the Steelers definitely wanting to bring back. Your boy Boykin, I mean, he's got cut.
Yeah,
that's a gunner right there. They really could use. So I could definitely see them going after him.
Wasn't a good day for ex-Steelers, Dave. A lot of them got cut. Miles Boykin, James Pierre, Terrell Edmonds, Armand Watts, Presley Harvin, Allen Robinson. It makes you wonder about last year's roster. And I hate to give Mike Tomlin more credit, but the fact that he made the playoffs with this group of players, all those players I just mentioned are not on rosters right now from last year's team. And then you got to throw in Keanu Neal, Patrick Peterson, Quan Alexander, Levi Wallace, Elijah Riley, Marcus Golden, Mason Cole. Oh, there's like 20 guys that are not on rosters this year. they made the playoffs with last year. It's low key amazing that Mike Tomlin made the playoffs with that.
Yeah,
And Kenny Pickett as quarterback. Just
he
throw
is
that in
the
there.
he is the unstoppable force, bro.
And you know me, I'm hot and cold with Mike Tomlin. I don't like giving him too much credit, but Jesus Christ, that roster last year was shit.
Yeah, no, it was a shit show, and they somehow pulled it out and made the playoffs with a lot of help, though. Let's be honest. But yeah, dude, like I I saw how many guys got cut, and I'm all I can think in my head is, they're gonna try to bring back a ton of these guys. I could see them going after. It kind of worries me a little bit. Like at most, Boykin is like the only one that I think I'd be. I mean, Pierre. I mean, that's
I
another
was gonna
one.
say
Maybe
Pierre, I wouldn't mind.
like that's those two because both are gunners, right? I mean, they both
Yeah,
do special
yeah.
teams and do well at it. So that there I'd be okay with, but the rest of those guys, no,
None of those other guys. I
no,
mean, not Amon Watts, no. Terrell Edmonds, no. Allen Robinson, hell no.
yeah,
No, none of those guys. There's a lot of buzz today. Tim Patrick got cut by the Broncos. Everyone was kind of excited. I didn't really see that one too much, but just before we get on, he signed with the Lions, so he's out. The other guy that we saw a lot of buzz about is Noah Brown from the Texans, got cut to help the wide receiver room. Again, man, none of those guys move the needle for me. I just don't. If this is what it's going to be for this wide receiver room, we're in trouble. Big trouble.
Well, I like Noah Brown. He put
Is he
up
better
over,
than Van Jefferson?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is he significantly better than Van Jefferson?
Yeah, he had two
You think
games
so?
last year where he had up 150 yards in one game, twice.
Yeah.
He had over
Yeah.
500 something yards total, and that's only in 10 games playing. He only played in 10 games last year. His biggest issue is injury, Dave, not talent. So yeah, I think he would definitely be a help. I saw a comparison, and I mean, all of his stats outproduced Van Jefferson last year, and that's with him only playing 10 games. So yes, he would definitely be an improvement. Remember, that wide receiver core with Houston Texans is stacked.
Yeah.
And that's what we've
And you got
been
to keep that in
waiting
mind,
for.
too, that he was the third option. So he was obviously facing the worst corner on the field at all times because they had so many other weapons and options to go.
True,
So that
but
helps him out a little bit.
either way, he's going to be a number two. If not, when Roman Wilson's ready, he'll be bumped to three. So it works out either way.
Yeah, he's better than. I'll take him over Calvin Austin all day long.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a no doubter. I'm talking, but he would be better than Van Jefferson. I really do think. Just think about that: 566 yards in 10 games. Give him the extra 7 games. How much more does he produce?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm open to anything.
Just so you understand, he averaged 17 point something yards per reception. Yeah. That's pretty good. So yeah, he would be a really good weapon for them to add. Would I mind Patrick? Well, no, but he hasn't done anything. He's been so injured.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you would get with him. Mechie is another. Mechie is the other Texan that I really liked.
Yeah, he made the team though. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's because in preseason he had like 10 receptions for 100 yards and a touchdown and averaged 18 yards per reception too. So like that's why they went ahead and went the other way and cut Noah Brown instead. But I think they cut Noah Brown because of the injuries. I want to say he actually has a shoulder issue as we speak. So
see, that's another thing that you don't want to. Both those guys being injury prone, you don't need. You don't need to sign a guy,
and that's the issue.
That's have him play good for a couple games and then be in square one again.
Yeah, I mean that's my main issue with Noah Brown is the fact that he does have an injury issue. Other guys I'd seen get cut. I mean, Kadarius Toney is being brought up by a lot of people. Look, he's worse than Noah Brown when it comes to injuries. This guy only had 169 yards receiving last year because of the fact he hardly ever played because he's always injured. It was the same thing with the Giants. When the Chiefs traded for Toney, I was like, okay, if he stays healthy, it could be big for them. But the guy can't stay healthy. And
he's a knucklehead.
He drops a lot where he drops the ball all the time. You think people were frustrated with DJ. Just wait till they see this guy. and he fumbled a lot. And then, like you said, he's a head case. He says and does some dumb shit.
Yeah,
Like,
that's not the guy.
I
That's not the
just
guy.
don't think that's the guy either.
Yeah.
We know what his potential is, but is it really worth like what you're going to fucking deal with? No, I don't think it is.
I mean, if he couldn't
So,
stay on the straight and narrow with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, he's there's no
right,
place in the league he'll be able to.
right.
There's
If
no
you can't,
place.
that's a great point. If you can't be successful with Patrick Mahomes throwing you a ball, yeah, there's definitely an issue. But I just I get that people like the thought of him being the one added to the team, but I don't think it'd be a good idea. Your boy Martavis Bryant got cut. I
Don't
know
get me
that you
started.
I know you love him with all of your heart, and
Don't get me started, Dave.
you know,
Sign that man.
but
No,
look, I
I've
mean,
said
look,
it before.
he had a touchdown in preseason for the Commanders,
Yeah,
but it's been 7 years. Can this guy
he's not the
legit?
Martavis Brown of 6 years ago. He's not.
Right.
We just got to
So
face it.
are we? That to me is more like a waste of time. There was that D. Eskridge that got cut by Seattle. I mean, he doesn't really have the production there. He did okay in the preseason, if I remember correctly. He's a speedster guy. Nothing really, would he move the needle? Not really. Actually, he would just be another one of those guys we already have already, basically. Yeah. Who else?
I saw Terrace Marshall. Terrace Marshall. He's out of LSU. He got cut. I forgot who he got cut by. He had really good testing.
Marshall, was he with the Panthers?
I think it was the Panthers. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe worth taking a flyer on, but again, none of these guys move the needle, Dave.
If you're going to take a flyer on just a guy, just to see what he has, then they need to look at Colin Johnson, who just got cut by the Bears.
Yeah.
Had a big game in the Hall of Fame game, had 2 touchdowns. But it's preseason. Yeah, he's facing the threes probably.
Yeah, especially in the Hall of Fame game.
But if you're talking flyers, then he'd be a guy I would take a flyer on. But out of all of these guys, literally, if it wasn't Mechie, I'm going Noah Brown. If not Noah Brown, then from there you have to maybe Patrick.
Patrick signed with the Lions. He's done.
He signed with the Lions.
He signed with the Lions.
There you go.
He's gone.
So for me, I think the guy's Noah Brown then, bro. It's got to be Noah Brown.
I think they wait and try to make a trade either between now and the trade deadline. Maybe they add a guy now, but
they already reached out about Mechie and Patrick. Yeah. So, but as far as guys that got cut, the only one that has any substance to making and helping this team would be Noah Brown. That's it.
All right, let's roll through the positions and see what transpired here. Quarterbacks, no surprises. Kyle Allen, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. Everyone knew this. Let's look at this way. Is this an upgrade or a downgrade from last year? This is a 100% upgrade, right? We'll do this at every position. They are better at quarterback than they were last year.
Significantly,
100%. I don't think you'll get an argument with anybody. I think even Russell Wilson 2 years ago with his bad year is probably better than what Kenny Pickett was last year. So
the Pickett lickers will want to argue, but
no,
they're morons.
Like I said last,
we'll just chalk it up as that they're a bunch of morons. This is definitely an upgrade, and everybody will see that. So yeah,
running backs, same thing as last year. Well, not the same thing as last year, but pretty much what we expected. Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, and Cordero Patterson. Cordero Patterson, big game his last time out, the last preseason game. That's a bit of an upgrade. I think this group's a little better with Cordero Patterson as the third guy.
I actually, he showed me, I told you, I was looking to see what he did in this last game. And I mean, right off the rip, takes it to the house. So yeah, dude definitely showed me something. I'm thrilled that he's our number 3.
Hopefully Jaylen Warren's healthy this year. He said he's going to play week 1.
Yeah, I think
so hopefully that hamstring doesn't linger, because that would be a devastating blow if anything like that would happen. Tight ends, we got Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Nicole Pruitt, and Connor Hayward. They kept 4.
That was surprising.
On the Steelers website, they have tight end / fullback for Connor Hayward. So they cut.
I just thought they'd still keep 3. I didn't think that Nicole Pruitt would be that big of a deal that they would carry 4. I'm kind of that is the other one that kind of shocked me a little bit was that they went ahead and went with 4 tight ends. But that just tells me how heavily involved the tight ends are going to be.
Yep.
When you go 4 tight
Yep.
ends, that means you're going to be using your 12, 13 personnel a lot, to the point where they're worried they don't want to have an injury and it screw them up not having that extra tight end.
Yep. Agreed. I on my final 53, I had Rodney Williams. I think he's a better special teams player. He's a better athlete than Nicole Pruitt. I think this is a Arthur Smith
Oh,
guy.
no doubt.
Arthur Smith likes him. He wants him around.
I have no doubt this has
I just don't know
all over.
what he brings to the. He's an okay blocker. He's not a great blocker. He's definitely not a great receiver. That's a little head scratcher for me. All right, offensive line. We'll have some fun with this. They kept what 9: Spencer Anderson, James Daniels, Troy Fuatanu, Zach Frazier, Broderick Jones, Ryan McCullum, Mason McCormick, Dan Moore, and Isaac Seumalo. Dave, this tackle position scares the fuck out of me. I'm just gonna be honest. Dylan Cook now on the IR. You've got a gimpy Broderick Jones. You've got Fuatanu, who's been injured since the first preseason game.
Yeah.
Supposedly healthy, maybe. I mean, what's his stamina going to be like if he does play? The guy hasn't even practiced in 3 weeks. Yeah, this is.
And the fact that I was pretty mad today when I saw that Broderick Jones was interviewed and literally did not know what he was going to be doing, whether it was left or right tackle. Then the rumors flying that if Fuatanu is good enough to go, he will start at right tackle with Mort left. It's just like, dude, what is going on? Like, I don't know. Not particularly happy about this. I fear that you may be right, that they're definitely going to do to them what they did to Sean Davis and all these other guys, whether it be, you could argue any of them, Kendrick Green or Dotson, or just any of those guys that they really fucked up because they kept moving them around in their positions and they didn't just become, a subject matter expert, if you will, at that one position to get really good at it. Or as far as these guys that played them out of position, they were way better to be a left or a right, or and they just forbid to do that. So I'm frustrated with this part with the whole offensive line. It's telling, though. It's very telling that Broderick Jones just hasn't been good enough to take that left tackle job away from Moore. We have not been bitching about Moore the whole preseason.
No, Moore's been solid. Give him credit.
He's been solid.
Pretty solid,
and that's credit to him. It just sucked. We waste. I don't want to say wasted yet, but when you use a first round draft pick that we traded up to get, and it's year 2, and my guy is still standing here going, well, I don't know where I'm going, and the rumors are flying that you're not even good enough to take the right tackle position from the rookie. That's bad. That's real bad.
Yeah, if Broderick Jones is on the bench week 1, this is an abject disaster. Period. If he's not good enough, like you said, to beat out a rookie on the right side or a marginal veteran at best on the left side, this is a disaster. And the Steelers have no one to blame but themselves. They should have started him at left tackle week 1 last year. We talked about this on the last pod. Take your lumps, get him in there, get him used to left tackle. By this time now, he'd be entrenched as the left tackle, and we'd have no problem. Fuatanu, Dan Moore would probably be gone, traded, and you'd probably have a veteran right tackle to back up Fuatanu if he can't play, and everything would fall into place. But here we are.
It absolutely should have been baptism by fire with him last year. They should have plug and played him left, like you said, and then he'll take his lumps, and then he'd have been good to go. Or you see how bad he really is, and you're like, shit. Yeah. But I mean, this might actually what happened. They were probably like, maybe that's what they thought in the first place. Now I'm starting to, for them to go back-to-back tackles, right? We thought it was Dan Moore was the reason.
Man,
what if it was Broderick? What if they were like, oh shit, we fucked up. we got to go get another tackle. That's what I'm starting to worry now. Like, holy shit. Like, this is, 2 games ago, he looked really bad. He did better this last one, but it wasn't
backups again, backups.
Yes. Great point.
So,
and so I don't know.
Remember when I tweeted out what it must have been 3 weeks ago? Would you put Broderick Jones in a Brandon Ayuk deal and people went up one side of my ass and down the other? You can't trade Broderick Jones. You can't trade him. Are you crazy? He's the future. He's this, he's that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
On YouTube here, Tanner Myers had have loved the last two drafts, but this time last year I would have expected to like this roster more after 2 off seasons of Omar and company. He also added, this tackle thing has also made me think of how badly this team has handled the first round picks over the past 5 or so years, either through bad drafting or coaching or both, misusing top resources. Bingo.
Yep. And I like
Absolutely.
his first point.
Tanner hit it on the nail. Absolutely.
I like his first point. I mean, this is the con artist that I've been hearing about for a year and a half now. I would have expected this roster to be significantly better. You know, like everyone's telling me what great moves and great trades and great drafts. And I don't think this roster is that much better than last year, to be honest.
Well, he did say 5 years, so we can include Colbert in the 3 before that. Thank you very much.
Well, Colbert's got something to do, but he's for sure some of those draft picks were on him. But this is his second off season to revamp the roster the way he wants it. And like I brought up earlier when I brought up all his names, half those free agents he signed, well, more than half, almost all last year are gone. The Patrick Petersons, the Keanu O'Neals, they're all gone because they didn't work out. So I don't know. We're off on a tangent, but yeah, it's disappointing.
Yeah, and then Jennifer Pruser, she put, isn't he battling a shoulder and thumb injury? Why play him if he's hurt? I don't know if she's referring to.
I think it's Broderick Jones.
Okay, that's what I figured. I was making sure she wasn't referring to Fotanu, because I forget what his injury is.
It was a knee, I think. All right.
Oh, it is knee. You're right. Yeah. Okay, so she is referring to Broderick Jones. And I mean, look, it's actually elbow. I think they said it's elbow because Broderick Jones has been wearing the elbow brace. That's been the excuse, is that it's really hard to move the elbow brace. Actually, I think Jones said that himself. But then after the game, they talked to him and he was just like, "Oh, I'm fine." And it was just like, "Wait, dude, what the fuck? Which is it? Are you hurt, or are you just suck, or what is it?" And that's the shit that drives me crazy. These little games they play. But either way, here's my problem: if he's hurt, why is he playing 3 quarters in the game?
That's what I was going to say. That's my pushback to everyone who says he's hurt. If you have a hurt player, he doesn't play 3.5 quarters of preseason football. That doesn't happen. Well, 2.5 quarters. I'm sorry. That doesn't happen. A, he doesn't play at all, or B, he goes in for a series and they get him out of there. So if he's,
it's all
injured. I mean, I'm sure his elbow is bothering him. I'm sure it is. Otherwise, he wouldn't be wearing the brace. But obviously, Tomlin thinks he's healthy enough to play. So if he's healthy enough to play, he shouldn't be playing as badly as he is. I'm sorry, he just shouldn't be. And maybe it is the playing out of position and being screwed up by the Steelers. I firmly believe in that they've screwed this guy up. So, and now they have to live with it.
And I'm right there with you. I worry the same thing. I'm worried they fucked this guy up really bad, and now they're gonna.
And this goes back to our argument before. They painted themselves in the corner. Now you can't take Dan Moore out because he's your most reliable guy,
right?
So you can't play him at left, and now your first round pick from last year, 2 years ago, is playing out of position, and he can't beat out the draft pick from this year. You've created a disaster.
Yeah,
and it impacts the whole team because now you've brought in. We've talked about this last week. You've brought in quarterbacks who hold the ball a long time, and you have receivers that you signed who can't, don't get off the coverage too well. So that's going to force the quarterbacks to hold the ball even longer.
The only one I'm seeing right now that can separate themselves, and maybe now we're jumping to wide receivers. You're going to get me pissed off. I'm going to rant about this too. Is Jefferson's the only one that's shown to consistently separate himself, and Scotty Miller against the threes. That's it.
Yeah, let's jump to the wide receiver next because this is going to be my biggest rant of the day. You have 5 wide receivers. They only kept 5. Calvin Austin, Van Jefferson, Scotty Miller, George Pickens, and Roman Wilson. Dave, this is the worst wide receiving group of the Mike Tomlin era.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's close. I don't think it's close.
You will get no argument from me whatsoever on that statement. I completely agree. Like, just to go from Pickens and DJ to this group, like, it's just like, holy shit. Like, you have a 1, and then you've got like 4 4s on your fucking team. It's I'm praying to God that Roman Wilson is a legit or good enough to be the two that can really cause teams problems if they don't pay attention to him. And that's like hoping for a lot. So there's that. So they kept Calvin Austin III. I told you I didn't think they would let him go. Him being
They kept him so far. There's 2 weeks left. There's 2 weeks left. There's 2 weeks left before the season starts.
We can get into the whole if they bring another guy in. But I'm saying for now, he made the team. But I thought there was a shot that they might be done with him beforehand because the fact that Fitzpatrick looks so good.
Yeah, I did too. To be honest, I thought my final 53 had Fitzpatrick over him.
Yeah,
I thought it was a done.
And you had me wondering if that might happen. So, but he survived it, and we'll see what happens if they do add somebody if they kick him to the curb. But
I did have someone message me who's pretty well in the know, who said that he's heard that they're unhappy with him and they're trying to add 2 receivers to this roster, and one will be to replace Calvin Austin. So we'll see. I think Miles Boykin's going to be one of them for sure, and that might.
My buddy Jimmy Larkin said they ain't making it to the playoffs. He might be right.
We're not gonna do our full-time season preview till like the week before. My mindset right now, Dave, is this could be bad. This could be the first losing record for Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, it's not looking good, Bob.
Nope. Not good, Bob. That's gonna be us saying all season long. Not good, Bob.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They got to do something. They got to trade for somebody. And here's the thing. On a positive note, we know that they are actively talking now to other teams about other wide receivers. So, I'm glad to see. But here's the thing. Here's what bothers me the most. They traded DJ away 5 fucking months ago.
This is bad for him. This is a bad look for him.
And then it felt like we waited like 2 months on the Ayuk shit. Feels like it's been a year, but it's like, why? Like, I'd have been reaching out to all kinds of teams long time ago. I would not have just been like, oh, we got to get Ayuk. Fuck Ayuk. I'd have been going all over the place talking to people about different wide receivers to make sure I guarantee he has Pickens has a legit number 2 opposite of him. Yeah. You don't put all your eggs in one basket on one guy.
See, the problem with that is Ayuk's the perfect fit for this team.
I could give a shit.
He's young.
Because look where we're at.
He's explosive. He's a good separator. He's exactly what they need. I get
all that. But look where we're at. This is why you don't take that chance. You don't take that chance because look now, they're essentially fucked. Unless somehow we get lucky. And because here is the thing with the 49ers. They got to worry about their is it Williams, their left tackle?
Left tackle, yep.
So they got Ayuk. And then I don't know. I saw something crazy that they're way over the salary cap, like
for next year.
Over.
For next year.
So
25. They're way over. They're like 60 million over.
To make some drastic moves.
Well, this is the thing. Do they have the mentality of we're all in for the season and next season we're just going to blow it up?
It could be.
I think that's probably what they're doing.
But
because they know they can't.
It's my only hope that they do trade him away because they're like, well, shit. We got to figure out a way to get out of next year's cap. We could just go ahead and let him go, acquire those picks, and be done with it.
Well, he's clearly on the block. The Steelers just got to, at this point, I hesitate to say it, but if you really want to win this season, you give them what they want. You can't go into the season with this group. You painted yourself into a corner.
I'm hesitant to say,
take my money, San Francisco.
I'm hesitant to say give them whatever they want.
I am too, but
I would ask, is the difference the second or the first pick? Or is it we have to give you a wide receiver? I will drive Calvin Austin III and Scotty Miller to the airport together. Give them both for all I care. And give them a first and say a fourth or, a sixth or something. They got to figure out what is the cutoff of them being like, okay, we have to have this to even talk, to even be like, okay, you give us this, we're good. we'll work out the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? Is it got to be a
Yeah.
first round pick? If it has to be the first round pick, then give it to him. Then negotiate whether it's a sixth following that with a player, say Calvin
I
Austin.
think I think if it's a first, that's all I get. That's all I get is a first. You're not gonna.
Yeah, but I
There
don't think
becomes a point where
they're not going to do it
it's
for
too.
just the first, Dave. They're not going to do it for just the first.
Would you do a second and a third in Roman Wilson?
You just said 2 minutes ago, give them whatever they want.
I know.
So
I
which
know.
is it?
But I wasn't thinking a first round pick, and that's
Well,
a lot. And
well,
something.
But see, that's what I'm saying. When
Yeah.
you say give them whatever they want, well, that's
Yeah.
quite the price tag. So you got to, if they're only offering what is rumored is to be a second and like a sixth, they're going to have to come up on that. They're going to have to offer more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we've said, they've painted themselves in the corner. They need to get him. And if they do get him, then I'll feel a lot better about what's going on.
What I'm
I'll feel better
hoping
about
is,
this offense.
what I was hoping what would happen is that Ayuk would say, trade me or I'm sitting out.
See, the problem with that is he's under contract. So if he sits out, they can fine him.
Only so much.
Yeah, I saw
They
one
can only
thing.
do so much
The
with
Jets. Yeah, the Jets linebackers, $4 million deep. A Huff that they traded. Was it Huff or somebody? Because
One
he
of
sat
them.
out the whole preseason. I think he's got up to like $3 or $4 million in fines now.
I'm just
It's
saying,
tough when
I
you-
was hoping he would threaten something like that to really force their hand. That's what I want to see, is
Yeah.
him do something like that. But then again, then I wonder if it really is true. He was just using the Steelers as a negotiation tactic, and we were never close to any of this happening. But then you get these morons that get upset and go, "Oh no, he wants to be a Steeler," and blah 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 blah. Yeah, what
Not
if
so sure
not?
about that.
What if he
Yeah,
doesn't
I'm not
want to
so
be
sure
a Steeler?
about that.
So people got to just face the facts that sometimes it's just not the way it is. Like sometimes we're just going to be used as a negotiation tactic. It sucks, but sometimes that's just the way it is. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like like I said, guys that have been cut, target Noah Brown. Hopefully he's not that injured. If not that, then
injured.
they better go trade for somebody, and they better do it quick.
Yeah, I think we could be waiting till the trade deadline. We're just going to roll with what we have for now. I can, other than maybe both. Maybe you can get Noah Brown in here, try him out, and then if it doesn't work out, make a trade at the deadline. I don't know if. Yeah, I've given up on the Brandon Ayuk thing. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going on there. This should have happened already.
I gave up.
Ridiculous.
I gave up on it a long time ago. I'm tired of it. I don't give a fuck anymore. Like I hope that something will happen where he does force their hand, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not going to worry about this anymore. Why dwell on something that's been going on for, I forget how long it's been going on now for, with him and them and us. It's pointless because, like I said,
let's flip over to
I
the
still
defense.
think that we're just a pawn in this game between him and the 49ers.
I've said that for a while. Let's flip over to the good news, the defense, because this is obviously the strength of the team, or it better be.
Yeah,
they'll be really in trouble.
Yeah.
Defensive line, they kept 8. I'm going to go over the names: Montravius Adams, Keanu Benton, Cam Hayward, DeMarvin Lee, Logan Lee, Isaiah Loudermilk, Dean Lowry, and Larry Ogunjobi. There's no way there's going to be 8 defensive linemen come week 1. And something's going to happen.
Like,
here.
I didn't understand that. I was like, why? I just couldn't believe they kept that many.
You know what it is, Dave? This roster, and I did it when I did my 53-man roster, but it's so weak that you almost give up on who to keep. Like that 52, 53 is all your good players are defensive linemen. At these other positions, it's shit. I'm dead serious. So I expect, we've talked about it. They're going to add a corner, a slot corner. We'll get into that later. A wide receiver, and at least 2 of these guys will end up getting cut.
Yeah.
Probably Loudermilk and Lee, if I had to guess, or Lowry and Lee. I kept Loudermilk on mine. You flip a coin between Lowry and Loudermilk of who they might keep,
Well, again, you get your guys that are draft picks, whether it's from long ago or not. If they show you anything, they tend to want to keep them around. Loudermilk had a good game this last game. He did do well.
Yep.
But they do like Lowry, but he was a free agent addition. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So if I had to choose which one would go, it would be Lowry. From
Yeah, me
their
too.
perspective. I'm saying from their perspective. From mine, I'm done with Loudermilk. That guy's had ample amount of time to do something and hasn't. He'd be gone. But because I think
He's
Lowry's a
okay.
solid D lineman.
Yeah, I think they're both okay. I mean, they're both. He's a sixth defensive lineman, Loudermilk.
Another
He is.
one that
That's
was
what he is.
surprising was Logan Lee. Like,
Yeah, that's. I'm telling you, it's strange. Maybe
yeah,
they're worried he'd get claimed right now on waivers, so they wanted to hold on to him for a couple more weeks till teams filled out their roster, and then they could sneak him on the practice squad after. I don't know. The top five is as solid as it gets, though. You know, Montravius Adams, Keanu Benton, Cam Hayward, um, uh, Larry Ogunjobi. Those guys are solid.
oh yeah.
So who comes after that is kind of, Marvin Leal. He's technically the
No,
fourth outside linebacker,
yeah,
right? Because
he's
they
the
don't have
reason
anybody
why
else.
they only kept three.
That,
He's the fourth edge rusher. He did it. Like to his credit, I give him a lot of credit because I really thought this guy was going to be gone. Going into the season, I was like, yeah, he's getting cut. I mean, Tomlin literally name dropped him as a guy that's got to show more. I mean, when the coach name drops you like that, that's bad. So especially for being Tomlin. Tomlin, I don't think usually does that. So for me, it was like, this guy's in trouble. I don't see him making it. But to his credit, he's that guy that was the exception where he switched from D lineman to edge rusher and actually excelled at it and has done really well. I mean, dude, I think he had a QB pressure or a sack in all 3 preseason games. Mm-hmm. He made an impact in every game, to his credit, and looked good in training camp. So I'm excited for him. Like, I can't even imagine like what to salvage what his last chance like he did. But he's definitely he's definitely edge rusher 4. There ain't no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, the only other 3 guys are TJ Watt, Highsmith, and Herbig. So he's gonna. I'm sure he'll do a little of both. He'll play outside linebacker and defensive end for this team. It's a solid group. I would have preferred they kept Kyron Johnson because he looked real good too. I thought he did enough to make this roster. To be one of the first cuts of the day was kind of surprising to me. I thought he played well. I mean, we'll see. Inside linebackers, they kept, 5, right? Patrick Queen, Landon Roberts, Mark Robinson, and Tyler Matakevich.
Yeah, they kept both
Wilson,
Robinson and Matakevich, which is also crazy.
They kept both those guys. Well, their special teams have struggled, so I think they kept their 2 best.
Them, I mean, putting Cole Holcomb on the pup allowed them to go ahead and go with those 5. So I guess it's not that surprising. But I don't know. I just still didn't think that both Mark Robinson and Matakevich would make it, but they did. So, which I don't have a problem with because they need those guys on special teams.
Yeah.
So
that linebacker group as a whole, inside and outside, is the strength of the team.
Oh, it's filthy.
It's really good. It's really good.
That is the strength of the team. There's no doubt.
If this defense stays healthy, it really has a chance to be like an elite level defense. It really does.
It is the only reason right now I have them sitting at 9 wins. It is the only reason.
Yeah. All right. Cornerbacks. This is where we get in a lot of trouble too.
Yeah.
They got JPJ, Dante Jackson, Beanie Bishop, Darius Rush, and Corey Trice. This is concerning.
We have
Beanie Bishop was
3 solid corners.
Yeah. Beanie Bishop was running second team.
That whole
corner, we thought.
That thing is so confusing to me. He went from first team, he's the guy, looks great, is the next Mike Hilton, to disappears, doesn't play at all in the second game, and Arnold got first team reps. Then Arnold gets hurt, is gone, and then Graham is the first team.
Thomas Graham, yeah.
And he doesn't come into the third quarter, I think it was, or something. Bishop didn't come into the third quarter. So
then they cut Graham.
Oh, okay. So he's not doing well then. They're not, But then they cut Graham and keep him. My thing is this. And I'm a fan of him. I hope he does well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if maybe they were just trying to give the other guys a look to give them a chance. And that's why he wasn't playing in the second game. And then the third game didn't come into late. Maybe he is the guy they like. And that was, but the thing with Arnold will still be the puzzling part because Arnold was the guy and then got hurt and was gone. So I'm hoping that Beanie Bishop is legit the guy they want. But if he's not, and out of the group they had, that he just ended up being the fifth guy, then I really hope they go and get somebody. Like, please go get somebody.
If I had to bet my life on one position they're gonna pick up, it's slot corner. They're gonna pick somebody up. I have no doubt.
The only doubt in my mind that they wouldn't is that because Cam Sutton will be back in after 8 games.
8 weeks. That's 8 weeks.
I know
away.
It's a long
that's
time.
An eternity.
But the Steelers, with the Steelers, they're gonna pick their ways to pinch pennies, man.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. They got plenty of cap space. I don't think they need to do that. I don't know.
They're like I said, unless they're just playing coy here, and they always like Bishop. Bishop was always
but
their guy.
He's an undrafted free agent. They don't know anything about him. You got to play him. You got to find out if he can play.
I don't disagree with you, but considering all the other shit they do, I would not put it past them.
I know. Darth Sniper asked, "You guys think Beanie's issue is size or technique or both?" To be honest, I don't know because I didn't see him very much. He didn't play. I don't know what he did in practice, but I didn't see him much in games. I know his size.
I would say right off the rip size.
There's a lot of small slot corners in this league, though. I don't think that's.
But I was going to say was that it could be technique. Maybe at this level, he needs to work on his craft a little bit, if you will. I could definitely see that.
You know what helps with that? Playing time in preseason games. Helps a little bit.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm confused. We're all confused at this one. We're all confused.
But yeah, in my heart, I'm hoping that he actually is their guy. But in reality, if he's not really like that great, then please go get somebody else. That's the way I look at it here.
Somebody wake up Patrick Peterson. He's got to be sleeping somewhere.
I guess go get him. I mean, I thought he did okay. Did he do okay in the slot for them last year?
Yeah.
Or was it outside where outside he looked horrible?
Yeah, I think he did. He had a couple good slot game.
I'm trying to remember. Reps, I should say. Outside he was garbage.
Safety wasn't very good either.
Oh, see, I couldn't remember his safety.
No, maybe he was making those business decisions on the tackles all the time. He didn't want.
Are we sure Patrick Peterson's the guy we want to bring back? I don't know.
No, I don't. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I was just gonna say, is he better than Beanie Bishop? Maybe not. Who knows? Especially since he hasn't practiced or done anything all off season. So
in Beanie's defense, Beanie will tackle.
Yep.
Patrick Peterson went into business for himself on several plays last year. Watching film, that guy would let up a ton and not make the tackle.
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons why I was so against him being on that field, because I didn't like that at all. There was no willingness to come up and make that tackle. Beanie Bishop will tackle downhill, period. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with
that. They have a chance to be very, very good at corner. We know Joey Porter Jr. is an ascending, soon-to-be star. And if Dante Jackson can just be halfway decent, they've got a pretty good starting tandem there.
Yeah, hey, Jennifer Pruser brought up a point that I wanted to talk to you about. Thank you, Jennifer, for putting this on here. Terrell Edmonds was cut.
Yeah.
Would you like run to go get him, bring him back to have him as a backup?
I don't know, man. What team was he on? Who cut? I can't remember who cut him. If he's not good enough to make that team, I mean.
Yeah, but this happened last year too. We were ready to snag him up. You got to remember, I'm talking about depth. I'm not saying add this guy as a starter.
Is he better than Jalen Elliott?
I'm saying add this guy. Yeah, I
guess.
Oh wait, Jalen Elliott.
Jalen Elliott's not Deshaun Elliott.
Okay,
it's confusing.
I was gonna say Jalen. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Is he?
That's why I'm asking this question. He got cut by the Giants. Thank you, Jeff. She's on fire.
But
I
mean, Giants aren't exactly a loaded team. But
I would definitely bring him back as a depth guy that has worked with Minkah Fitzpatrick. Is athletic enough, has been that third linebacker for us at times. Remember, that's what he thrived at, was in that third linebacker role for us. And she says he plays good Minka. Exactly. That's exactly what I
Yeah.
said. Like for
He hasn't
depth
started a
guy,
game. I
yes.
mean, he hasn't. How many games has he started since he left Pittsburgh 2 years ago? Not many. He hasn't
Well,
been able
yeah,
to crack
he's
a starting lineup.
I know, but he's depth. Think
Yeah,
about
I
the
guess.
injury.
I
Okay, let me
guess.
ask you this question. When we were on safety, I don't know, 6, would you have
Oh
liked to
yeah.
have
I
had
mean,
him?
yeah, of course.
Well, then you just answered my question. Yes. You want to bring this guy back as depth.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, is he better than Jalen
You're
Elliott?
no, no,
Probably.
no. You're thinking like a starter. I'm not saying starters,
No,
Daniel.
no, no. I'm talking about is he better than because their backups are Casey,
I am not
Elliott,
saying he is better than Deshaun Elliott. I'm saying he
not
would be,
Deshaun, Jalen.
or
They kept
whatever,
Jalen as the fifth safety.
whoever the main guy is. I'm getting them confused. So, anyways,
Deshaun's the main guy.
okay, that's what I'm saying. He's not better than him, but he's better
No,
than
no.
Jalen. If Elliott gets hurt, you're gonna want to have a guy that's familiar with Minka Fitzpatrick and our system. I think it's no brainer.
I worry that he might have passed him by. He's struggling to stay on rosters. Um, I think he was cut halfway through last season too, and ended up with another team.
Okay, well, Jennifer just brought up a good point. Is he good enough to have you for 8 weeks to get until Sutton's back?
So yeah, probably. I guess probably. I mean, if they sign Terrell Edmonds tomorrow, I wouldn't be mad.
Right.
I'm just trying to,
That's my point. My point is that it definitely would be a good depth guy to have. There's no doubt in my mind.
yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it. Since we're on the safeties, they kept 5. They kept 5 surprisingly. Deshaun Elliott, Minka Fitzpatrick, DeMonte Casey, Miles Killebrew, and Jalen Elliott. Um, the second Elliott was the surprise, another big surprise making this roster. He didn't do anything in the preseason. Maybe he did stuff in practice that we didn't see, but I don't recall any of the guys that we follow.
I
Like,
recall him getting picked on.
yeah, Farabara, Kozora saying he had great practices either. So
He got picked on a lot in the second game, if I remember correctly. And that was against 2s and 3s. So it was not good. I'm sad about Ryan Watts, though. That sucks. He's on season-ending IR.
yeah, that's a tough break for them. I think he probably would have been practice squad anyway, but it would have been nice to have him as depth on that practice squad in case
Yeah, no doubt.
something happened. He seemed like he was doing okay. That was a tough break. This gets me back to my point where the back end of this roster is not good, Dave. It's not good, and a lot of these guys could be switched out for different players by week 1. I think we could see. I don't know. Do you think they should bring an offensive tackle in? I got some pushback for this that people saying, no, they don't need an offensive tackle as a backup swing guy. I'm talking about, if they think Spencer Anderson will be good enough. I don't think you want to see Spencer Anderson playing meaningful snaps at right tackle if something goes wrong. That's just me.
I don't know, man. Like,
I know he's played good in the he had a good camp and he had a decent preseason game, but he's not a natural tackle.
I wouldn't mind them. It wouldn't bother me if they brought in another guy just in case. And centers too. That I think Stormberg got cut.
Stromberg got cut, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a third-round pick. Something must have gone really wrong.
So that another guy that got cut that was kind of intriguing to me, but a lot of people don't seem to like him, was that Ika Siaka out of Oregon.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty good, but apparently
I thought he was going to be a good D lineman, at least solid against the run. And they cut him too. Was that the Browns that had him or Bengals?
Yeah, well, you could get cut from the Browns today. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, already? I mean, it's just strange, man. Teams are not waiting on certain players. I mean,
Yeah.
But a lot of people were down on him. They're like, no, he's not good enough. And I'm like, I don't know. Intriguing to me, but no, there's definitely guys out there at different positions. They should definitely go.
Yeah,
try to get.
I lost my train of thought from it. They're going to bring a tackle, or I think they should. Maybe they won't, but I think they should. A wide receiver's got to be coming, and at least 2 defensive backs. At least 2, I think, and I think possibly 2 wide receivers. I think they're going to get a gunner who's either going to play, either going to corner or or a wide receiver that's a gunner. They have to bring somebody in. I
almost want to guarantee that Pierre or Boykin will be back.
Yeah, I think it's one of the Boykin. I think it's Boykin,
I think you're right.
but it's one of those two. If you were a betting man, put your money on one of those two being back for sure.
Yep.
And then James Pierre gives him a little depth on at corner too. A veteran guy. He's not great. You don't want to see him out there, but at least he's experienced both with the Steelers and in the league. So
Right.
I can see that happening. How do you feel about Darius Rush being like CB4 with this team?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
They're not ready to give up on him yet, and I don't blame them.
I wouldn't give up on him. I'd like to see one more veteran guy
Well,
and make him
remember,
CB5.
he's CB4, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
but your CB3 is made of glass. So
that's all right. You got me there. I'll give you that. You're not wrong.
He's about 10 minutes away from being CB3. So let's not.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't want them to give up on him yet. If that's what it takes to keep him on the roster, then so be it. Yeah. In the limited snaps we have seen, he has done okay. I mean, he hasn't done anything to really get our attention, like Corey.
It seems like they dropped him in practice. During training camp in practice, he was like running third team at some points. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but they've been doing a lot of that stuff. But I just think that's how they operate.
They've done some weird shit.
So I'm not too worried about that. I'm glad they kept him because they do have a shot to have these three guys that are your alien type corners, and JPJ, Trice, and now Darius Rush. To where, man, if you hit on one of those two to go with Joey, you're doing good.
Yeah. And as long as I guess Corey Trice is fine. The injury, he's made the roster. So, I mean, I guess if he's dinged, they can make him inactive for a week or two just to make sure he's completely healthy. I hope he stays healthy because I think he's got some possibilities. He's got some talent. We all know the knock on him. He can't stay healthy, so we'll see. I guess we just should go over the special teams real quick. This was a lock from day one. Chris Boswell, Cameron Johnston, and Christian Kuntz made the roster. They were always going to make the roster. That was never going to be any doubt about that. I think they got a problem brewing with Cameron Johnston. He's almost too good. He kicks the ball too far, and their gunners aren't very good right now.
Well, I was about to say, this guy, if they get their gunner situation figured out, could be a game changer for the Steelers.
It's a big if right now because I think they're starting gunners right now. Who? Scotty Miller.
Position is so important in games, especially tight games.
Of course.
If they get their gunners figured out, this guy's going to be huge for them. I mean, just got a big fucking leg, and as long as they get the right gunners that can tackle, for God's sake,
because that could backfire, Dave. He can kick the ball 50 yards downfield, but if you give the returner like a 30-yard head start or a 25-yard, head start, and he can.
That's not his fault. His job is to kick the ball.
No, it's not. I'm not blaming him at all. I'm just saying that could be a problem.
I mean, that's like saying, well, bring Hunter back, Percy Harvin back because he can't. Not Percy Harvin. I forget his first name, but bring him back because Gunner sucks, and now we need his shitty fucking punts.
No, I mean,
so
go out and get some freaking gunners so we don't have to deal with this. I mean, you finally got a punter. You finally got punter right after 3 years, and now you let Miles Boykin and James Pierre go. The way this team operates, dude, sometimes. And I thought Des Fitzpatrick was the best gunner on the team, and they cut him.
Yeah, I know.
Right now, I think their gunners are Scotty Miller and Darius Rush. I think that's not gonna. Scotty Miller's not a gunner. I like Scotty Miller. He's gonna be a good slot receiver. He's not a gunner. Now he played it a little bit. I think they said he played in Tampa Bay a couple snaps last year, but that's not his forte. That's not good. That's not good business.
Yeah.
So overall, I think we're still in a holding pattern. We still have to wait. I think we're still going to see some significant changes, or at least I hope, especially at wide receiver. They got to bring somebody in.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a slew of moves.
So if you had to gun to your head, who's the most probable guy to join the Steelers in the next couple of weeks?
At any position?
Yeah, any position. Who's the first guy they bring in?
Miles Boykin.
Yeah, agreed. Miles Boykin / James Pierre, or and James Pierre.
Yeah,
Could be both.
both.
Could be both. I wouldn't be mad at it either.
I think it happens pretty quick. Don't forget,
Yeah.
he could block too.
Yep. Yep. Good point. Miles Boykin. Yep. That's a good point.
So you bring in a guy
Uh,
that is your gunner, who's good at it, and then he can block when you know you want to run the ball a lot. Yeah, that I
what about
makes a
a
lot of
player that
sense.
we didn't bring up is Donovan Peoples-Jones. What do you think about? How do you feel? How do you feel about him?
I mean, speed guy that doesn't,
Freak athlete, right? But never
but
has been
but
able
doesn't
to.
produce.
Yeah.
I mean, again, bring him in. We'll have another mid off. The rest of the speedy wide receivers that don't produce
Yeah.
already.
You're right. He's Van Jefferson
Yeah,
without the accomplishments, basically.
right. I you know, there's just a whole lot of mid here that. Look, I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to pound the table for this guy. It's just that Noah Brown has literally had 150-yard receptions. I'm sorry, yards in a game twice. That's like taking over the game. 150 yards, Dave. That's really fucking
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Like
it's
this guy can do that if he stays healthy. That guy is probably at all the wide receivers available right now is your best shot at a guy that actually could give teams problems.
I'd have to agree. Out of all the junk and spam that's out there right now, he's top of the heap.
Yeah.
So
And it ain't a great.
maybe he's.
I'm not saying this is like
Yeah, no, yeah.
a plethora of great wide receivers out there right now, but at the same time, this is a guy that has shown that he can have big games for you if teams don't worry about him.
I mean, but we knew this, right? Teams don't cut good receivers. This just doesn't happen. You keep good receivers.
Well, yes, but again, Houston is stacked.
Yeah, and he's injury prone. So
$4 million contract is what you got to remember too.
Yeah.
So they probably saw, well, he's one of the ones we could cut, save us $4 million.
Yeah.
Because they hit on Mechie. They got Diggs. They got Nico Collins. Tank
yeah.
Dell. I mean, they got
Tank Dell. Yeah, Jesus, they do have a lot.
Dude, they're stacked. Like I'm saying,
that's how you build a wide receiver room.
Right.
That's how you
what
do
I'm
it.
saying.
Folks.
Like they've got wide receivers for days. So like they're gonna cut the guy that they're gonna pay $4 million to, who has a shoulder injury. They're gonna send him back. It just makes sense. It's business. I get it, but I get it from our end too if we go get him.
Yeah, he's the most likely, I think, a wide receiver right now, unless something else happens between now and
they were going to pay him.
Season.
They were going to pay him $4 million. The contract he signed with them was $4 million. I would offer him $4 million.
You could probably get him a little cheaper than that, but yeah, I mean, if you get in a bidding war,
No. I'd make sure he's ours. That's
all right.
I wouldn't play this game because they have to get that guy. So no, I'd be like, all right, you're supposed to get $4 million. Here's $4 million.
All right, you bring Noah Brown in. Who goes?
Who goes? Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, you could keep 6 wide receivers and keep. I guess you could keep 6 and knock one of these defensive linemen out.
I mean, for me,
and if you get Noah Brown,
it would either be Scotty Miller or Calvin Austin III.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I don't want to seem like I'm piling on to Calvin Austin, but if you have Noah Brown, well, what do you need Calvin Austin for?
Yeah,
I mean, they're basically. I mean, he's a better version of Calvin Austin.
No, I mean we're talking. Let's see here. So you're talking Pickens. Then if you have Brown, then you've got Roman Wilson. You've got Van Jefferson, and then it comes down to Scotty Miller or Calvin Austin III.
And I think we all agree that Scotty Miller is a better slot receiver than Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin's an outside receiver. He doesn't play slot. He didn't play slot in college that much,
right?
If at all. So I think Scotty Miller's your starting slot receiver week 1.
It's possible.
As things stay right now.
As we talk right now, yes, I think you're right.
It's Van Jefferson, Scotty Miller, and George Pickens. That's just starting 3.
Yep. No, you're right. Unless Roman Wilson's okay, then
Roman Wilson's another guy who hasn't played slot that much.
No,
he was a receiver
right.
in Michigan too.
He better learn quick because that's probably going to be where he goes if healthy.
Is there any scenario where Van Jefferson has an incredible 800-yard season?
If he's the number two, legit number two, the whole season, I would put him around, I'll say 700 yards. I would 700, like you said, maybe 800. Yeah, I would.
If he gets 800 yards, that's a success. That's a
Yeah.
roaring success.
I mean, me personally, I'm sticking around 700 as his ceiling.
What did DJ have last year? I can't remember.
I forget. It wasn't 1,000, I don't think. Wasn't it like 900 something?
Yeah. Yeah, you've lost a lot of production. I know DJ had his warts, and I'm not totally sad he's gone, but I wish they would have replaced him with something a little better than.
Well, yeah, that's my thing is I wish they would have just, go get another guy to take that spot now for him,
Yeah,
or something. But it is what it is.
All right, I think we've covered this pretty good. That's all I have, unless you got anything else before we get out of here.
No, that's all I got.
All right, you can follow me on X at SteelersSank16. Email the show at daver@SteelersSanctuary.com. Subscribe to the podcast, guys, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Rate and review us. That'd be great. Thanks to the new people that were on our chat today. We had quite a few. We appreciate that. Dave, give me your stuff and let's get out of here.
Yeah, you can find me on X at DMC3SSP. You can find me on TikTok at Steelers Sanctuary Podcast or at Steel Sank Pod. And that's all I got.
All right, until next time, guys.
Hey, real quick.
Okay.
Hey,
Yep.
go on TikTok and follow Dave at Steelers Sanctuary. Please.
Follow me.
Yes, please follow him. That's all I ask. All right.
All right. All right. Until next time, guys. Thanks for listening to the Steel Sanctuary.